Well, good morning. Welcome back to the kitchen. I'm up early and I'm going to be making some cookies today. Had a neighbor lady that lived by us for many years, and her name was Mrs. Vaughn. And when my dad passed away, she came over with a plate full of cookies and said she made them for little Jordan. That's our youngest grandson. So we just call them Miss Vaughn cookies. But basically they're a crisp little easy to make sugar cookie, and she said she got the recipe off the Crisco can many years ago, and it must have been 50 years ago because she lived here a long time and was making them before she lived here. So I'm going to make some Miss Vaughn cookies today. They're a drop cookie, they're easy to make. You know, sometimes you just want something that's a tad sweet, but it doesn't just make you have to go get a drink of water because it's so sweet. That's these cookies. They just hit the spot when you need a little bite of something sweet, but they don't overwhelm you. So y'all come on over to the mixer and we'll mix up some Miss Vaughn cookies, get them baked, and I'll plate them up and show them to you, and I'll probably eat one of them. They're hard to resist. Come on over and we'll get it going. Okay, I'm going to add my 1 stick of butter and then a half a cup of Crisco. And I'm going to blend those really well, and then we'll add our sugar and our eggs and the rest of it. So let me cream this. It would help to plug the mixer in. Okay, I'm going to cream this. I'm going to scrape it down because I want the Crisco and the butter to be blended really well. Okay, now I need to add 2 cups of sugar. That's a half cup. So that's 1 cup. This makes a cookie that's like a tea cake, but you can roll them out if you want to, but I'm going to do just like Ms. Vaughn did. I'm just going to drop them and cook them, and they're wonderful. I want to scrape it down. We've always had homemade cookies at our house. I guess Mom couldn't afford to buy bought ones, but we had homemade ones. Well, one time she was making cookies, and Bev and Linda lived close to us, and they were at the house going to have some cookies or just visiting, and Linda said, "You mean you can make cookies at home?" Their mother had never made cookies. They always had bought cookies. They thought that was awesome. So I'm going to add now part of my eggs, blend them a bit. So we used a half a cup of Crisco, a half a cup of butter, 2 cups of sugar, and 4 eggs. The actual name that was on the Crisco can for these cookies was Quick Crisp Sugar Cookies. Some of y'all may have that recipe in your mom's or your grandmother's recipe archives. We had never had them. And my mother did use Crisco forever, but she didn't have this recipe. Okay, it calls for 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to add that in and let it blend, and then I'll add the flour. It also calls for 2 tablespoons of whole milk, and I've got that measured up, and a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and add some of my flour. Go ahead and add the 2 tablespoons of milk and the vanilla. Let it blend in with this. Okay, let me add the rest of the flour in. Now if you're going to roll these and cut them with your shapes, you're going to want to refrigerate this dough for a while. But just to make cookies like I'm going to do with the drop, you can go cook them right now. Okay, I got the beater off and got it clean, so I'm fixing to go over to the booze block and get them on cookie sheets. Y'all move on over there, and I'll be right behind you. This recipe makes about 5 dozen cookies, and if you'll spray your cookie thing with kitchen spray, your dough releases better. These cook at 425 for about 10 minutes. I'm going to finish filling this pan, and then I'll bring y'all back before I put them in the oven. Okay, I've got one pan filled, and I'm fixing to put it in the oven, and I'll show y'all what they look like when I bring it out. Okay, I've got the first pan out of the oven, and I'm fixing to get them on the cooling racks over here. They cooked at 425 for 10 minutes, and they're perfect. Okay, here you go. Here's a platter of the baked cookies. Y'all need to try this. They're tea cakes that you just drop. You don't have to cut them out. The flavor's the same, quick and easy. That's one of my treasures. I like to have recipes that have a meaning to them, and somebody special gave it to me, and I remember when and where and the circumstances. And you know, Miss Vaughn Cookies is a good cookie. She brought it at a time when I needed a little bit of nurturing because my dad had passed away, and it meant a lot to me that she cared enough to stand on her feet and bake cookies for us. So I hope y'all try the recipe. You can sprinkle little red or green sugars or something on the top and make them a little festive if you want to, but I like them just plain because we have a lot of rich stuff, so it's nice to have something that's just a plain cookie. Y'all use some of these recipes now. I'm spending my time giving you all of my secrets and my treasures and my stuff we enjoy, and I want you to make it a part of your kitchen. The good Lord bless and keep y'all, and I'll see you back here in a day or two with something else good.